Papa Chulo.
How's it going? That's what
Going
they call
great.
me, it seemed like.
Say what?
It seemed like that's what they call me these days.
What?
I don't know.
Papa Chulo.
Yeah, I don't know why, but you know.
Question.
Yes.
How many millionaires did you make last year?
26. 26.
26 millionaires.
Yeah.
In 1 year.
Yeah.
How?
By the way of e-commerce, you know, like e-commerce is the selling of digital physical goods online. It's a huge, crazy area. And plus, you know, within 2020 and 2021, it took off to a whole nother level, right? Yeah, it was like the gold rush, you know, because everybody was at home because of COVID, you know, and what I was telling people was, hey, you might want to get into this ASAP, you know, because once you get into this, you have to understand that the field is exponential. It's too many people at home. And the only way they feel like they're not in jail is to do what? Spend money, you know?
Because they feel like they're in control. They have control of something.
They have control of something. And plus with the stimulus checks and everything came out, it made it a super easy year for us, you know, revenue-wise, and it made it super easy for our students as well to come out here and establish their names before, you know, things get back to normal. So that's what they did, you know, gaining 50 to 100,000 followers just like that, you know.
Okay, let's back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Cause you know, we are here for the people.
Right.
Okay, so we're here for the people. Before you were Papa Chulo.
Right.
Before you were in this big mansion.
Right.
Before you had a Rolls Royce. Before you had your I-8.
Yeah.
With the butterfly doors. Right. Before you had your own lake out here.
Right.
What were you doing?
I was working at Skechers. In the daytime, and I had a nighttime gig at the warehouse.
When was that?
That was 2015, 2016.
So in 2015, 2016, you were working at Skechers.
Yeah.
And you had another job in a warehouse.
Yeah, I had a job at the warehouse, and I had Skechers from 2016 to like mid 2017.
Okay.
Like that's when everything got cut off.
Okay. So was this a plan of yours to be where you are today when you were working at Skechers?
Not at all.
So how did this happen?
I ask myself that too sometimes. I don't know. But, you know, if we being real, you know, if we go back to those times and everything, you know, working was fine with me, you know, like when you don't want so much in life, you start to get comfortable, you know, and comfortable for me was staying in Section 8, you know, in the hood where everybody else at, you know, getting food stamps, you know, buying the crabs with your food stamps. You know, you're like, if you feel like you can do the same things as everybody else, why worry, right? You know, buying Jordans with the little $250 paycheck I was getting, so feeling clean. You know, like I didn't have no worries, you know. It really wasn't until this Saturday at Skechers, you know, regular work day as well. You know, I'm a hardworking individual, always been, you know what I mean? I always just wanted respect. You give me respect, I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna make sure that you feel my presence.
For sure.
That's how I wanted to do anything. That's how I have done anything in life, is you're gonna feel my presence, even if it's a small task. You're gonna know that I did that task and you're gonna thank me for what I did in that task, you know? So it was pretty much that. But yeah, my sister texted me when I was coming off my lunch break and said, hey, get to the hospital, mom had a stroke. You know, and the only thing I knew about strokes at that time was sometimes you live, sometimes you die, or sometimes you end up messed up, you know? And at that point I had so limited knowledge on strokes because she never had one up to that point. So it didn't concern me to even do no research on it. So I'm just over there tripping. And you know, if you Google something, it was like a split second when I Googled what happens when you never Google what happens if you have a stroke. Just know they popping up everything.
You panic.
Yes, in the world of what could happen.
But you were on your lunch break.
I was on my lunch break.
Your sister called.
She texted me.
Text. Mom had a stroke.
Get to the hospital in all caps.
And then you Google what happens.
Yeah.
How are you feeling right then in that moment?
I was panicking. I was scared, you know. Like, my mom is literally my everything.
Did you think about, oh, I got to go back and clock in. I'm at work. I got to clock in and go back to work, or what was your thought?
It was like time stood still in that moment. You know, time stood still. You know, you normally can hear everybody else out in the, you know, shopping and, you know, helping people. I didn't hear anything. It was like my ears went blank with noise. You know, my heart was beating super fast.
My heart is beating fast now.
Yeah, man. Like, I was sweating. I just didn't know how to react and how to feel, right? And being a pillar of what my mom has been in my life is so much more than words could fathom, because I'm adopted. I was a crack baby. I had a lot of crack in my system as a child. Wow. This woman was going to the hospital planning on to, you know, exit me out of there. And my mom developed a relationship for her. At that time, she met my dad. My dad came in there and took care of 3 of my mom's children. And they were all teenagers. He's a military father, so he came in there with that structure, you know, and, you know, he wanted a child of his own. And my mom seen that as a perfect opportunity. She said she felt like that was a gift from God, a blessing for that woman to walk in there that day, strung out on drugs, to try to, you know? Yeah. And they adopted me. You know, it was a hard process because, you know, my dad had to do a little, you know, finagling on the birth certificate, had to say sleep with that woman just to get that name on her, you know, had to do a lot to get me. And my brother, you know, he was running the streets and he had to clean up his act because they said I wouldn't be able to stay if he doesn't clean up his act. So he changed his ways. My sisters, they fell in love with me immediately, you know, even though they said I was crying for 4 weeks straight, all throughout the night because it was so much crack in my system that I had to get it out. Wow. You know, and I found all this out at the age of 17.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know. The only reason why my mom told me, she said, the woman said, yo, I have cancer and I don't know how long I would love if, you know, she was on her heavy. And my mom didn't want to, you know, break it to me like that. But, you know, we went to a park one day, boom, boom, boom.
So you didn't know you were adopted?
No, not at all.
Until you were 17?
Yeah. Because I kind of favored my mom. So I never even thought to say, oh, I don't look like none of these people. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that. Right. You know, I was just so, at that point, I'm bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm bad. You know, I can't stay in school. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just so many problems. You know, I felt entitled. You know what I mean? Like, you know how it is when you're young. You know, you feel like you can do whatever you want. Right. Had a child young, you know, kept getting in trouble, whatever the case is.
So knowing everything that your mom and your dad had to do to get you, now I understand why you were like, mom had a stroke, screw this job, whatever happens, happens. I'm going to see my mom. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It made me appreciate her, like, as the time went on. Because at first, I hated everybody. Right. Because I didn't want that to be my life. I'm like, this is the Twilight Zone. Right. How the heck could I be a crack baby? I don't even, you know what I'm saying? I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, I don't drink. Right. I have no addictive behavior.
And you came in party.
You know what I'm saying? You feel me? I'm like, yo. You know, I looked at my cousin and said, this should have been you. Like, at that point, my cousin who I'm super close with now, you know what I'm saying? He's like my best friend, my brother. But before, I was like, why this wasn't you out of all people? You know, but yeah, it made me grow such an appreciation for my mom. And when I got that text, it was like, yo, because I then remembered everything my mom have done for me.
And before she got you, to get you.
Yes, and then leading up to everything. So her life with me was flashing between, you know, and I'm like, yo, I don't know what to expect when I get to that. So anyways, you know, right, let's go back to the story. I opened the doors, you know, tears in my face. Go to the front, you know, he's looking at the computer, working on the computer. Yeah. And I say, hey, my mom just had a stroke. I have to get to the hospital right now. You know, and he continued to work a little bit, you know, and he like looked up slowly. And you know that moment when you feel like somebody is gonna say something that you don't like, but you feel like that person wouldn't say that because that would be crazy for you to say that. He looked up and said, do you know what day it is? It's Saturday. Get out there and sell some shoes. And he put his eyes back down on the computer and continued to work. And as I explained to you how much my mom mean to me, of course, I'm enraging at that point. And I want to take out everything at that very moment on him, you know? And you always left with two options at the end of the day, especially, you know, coming from our culture. You either show people where you're from or you show them where you're going. I took off my shirt, threw it at him, hopped in my mom's truck, because at that time I ain't had no car. I was driving my dad's Titan, you know what I'm saying? I was driving my dad's Titan, rushed to the hospital, you know, got through the doors and everything, did the whole check-in, went upstairs. I seen her in the bed. I seen my brothers and sisters, you know, surrounded around her. You know, she seen me. She said, "Hey, son," but in a very slurred.
Yeah, voice, right.
And my mom is the strongest black woman I ever known in life. Right. She's the woman that get out there, work 24/7, you know, because she was a manager of an apartment complex. So, you know, she had that type of personality, you know, running in stores and staying in stores for thousands of years, you know.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like the one,
she was
the normal. Yeah, the normal.
So,
and just to see her slurred, it hurt me. It hurt me to the core.
So you weren't even thinking about your job?
Nah. He texted me. He texted me while I was in there. He said, "Yo, how's everything?"
And what'd you think? What'd you do?
I didn't do nothing. I didn't even text him back.
So what happened next? So you quit your job?
I quit that job. I still have my nighttime job.
Your mom's alive, thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
Now what? Because now you got to pay bills.
Yeah, I still have my nighttime gig, you know, and I'm in Section 8, so you know the bills ain't that crazy anyways.
Okay,
you know
so you living in the projects?
Yeah.
Living in the projects?
Super projects.
The projects.
Yeah.
We know where we live, right?
Yeah,
so we know what the projects look like.
They won't shoot you in the back, but they'll shoot you in the face projects. I'm in that one. You know, it's grades to how you can die in different projects, if we being for real.
You were the one that shoot you in the face.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you...
The wig on the ground, you know, all that.
So you go to work.
Yeah.
Right? So what happened? What happened that said, okay?
Yeah. It was from that moment I said I need to create my own source of income. And I need to figure out what do I have to my resources since they're very limited to make that happen.
Okay.
I had an Instagram page. My brother created my Instagram page.
Okay.
You know, and I was a face on there, you know, so
okay.
I started playing around with it, of course, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I had probably 2,500 followers at that point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, I need to figure out something. You know what I'm saying? To take my mind off of what's going on currently. So I just had the nighttime job, and I kind of forgot about the entrepreneurial because it was just a tick, you know, a little tick. It wasn't a full-fledged, let me go into this thing and let me make millions of dollars. It wasn't that, you know? Right. It was one of those, I need to do better, and I slowly forgot. You know what I'm saying? Because I still had a backup source. I had my nighttime job.
But it's funny that you said that because this is what happens with people. Yeah. Let's talk about just everyday people. Right. We're not going to talk about entrepreneurs. We're going to talk about people that work 9 to 5. Right. Right. They want to do something else. Yeah. It's just a tick. Yeah. Nothing really happens that make them decide to do something else. There's a difference. Exactly. You can want something, but then when you decide, you make a decision, it's different. Yeah. It's different. You're at the warehouse, you living in a project, you comfortable, but you're uncomfortable, but not, I want better. Like I want better, but I haven't decided that I'm going to get better. Exactly. Something happens in between want and decide. Exactly. What happened there?
That point came from, you know, me, you know, just living life regular, you know, and me meeting my amazing wife. Right. You know, and we hit it off immediately. She felt me. I felt like living again. I really wanted to live at that point. Because we know how we go through life. We go through life just wandering, not even doing nothing too much. You know what I mean? No purpose. No purpose, you know? And, you know, we spent quite some time together. And, you know, it was one night. At this point, I'm building my followers. At this point, I built my followers. Okay. Because at least I did that because I knew that, you know, I had a way with words and my captions, you know, just to
How did you build your followers?
Just to attract the ladies. You know what I'm saying? So I was sharing. I was sharing with all the big Instagram people now. They were little Instagram people then. you know? So we've been sharing, you know, going back and forth or whatever, you know, we really turned it up. And back then it was easy to grow Instagram, you know, because the algorithm was in chronological order. So, you know, you've seen people post more often. So people was following me off the merit of that. You know, you could grow like 30,000 followers in a week.
Okay.
You know, so we was.
So what were you talking about? What were you talking about on Instagram?
Nothing. I was just posting pictures of me and people would follow me. You know, and all I was doing was trying to make people feel comfortable, right? I was the guy.
Did you know where you were going with this?
No.
You
At
had
that
no
point, I was
purpose.
single, so I was just trying to do it to impress women.
So your purpose? Okay. I got it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
so I'm over here saying, "How you doing, beautiful? How you doing?" Da da da. You know, and I'm growing the followers based on.
So what were you gonna do with the women?
I knew I wanted to do something. At that point, it was like, yo, I want to do something with this because now at this point I have 80,000 followers. What do I do?
So you went from 2,500 to 80,000?
Yeah.
What was the time frame?
That was literally within 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
4 to 6 months, we was putting in work, you know, making it happen, you know, sharing for sharing. And I'm like, yo, I got 80,000 followers. I want to do something with this.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And I seen it was this one company that was approaching people. It was an affiliate marketing company. And it was approaching us influencers. At that point, I was an influencer, you know? Well, I didn't post nothing yet as far as for other people, but I wanted to. You know, because I had the followers and I had the influences. I had the influence over certain people, and nobody didn't want to let me know. You know, like it was one of those. You know, when black people get something, we like to keep it to ourselves. You know, we're scared.
Scarcity mindset.
Yes,
yeah.
And that's how everybody moved. I was like, yo, what y'all doing? Why are y'all posting this? What's this going to? Nobody want to say nothing. It wasn't until one guy, you know what I'm saying, shout out to him now, he's super huge and been in Tyler Perry movies and everything, not his own little station on BET. Like, he was like, yo, this is what we doing, ba-ba-bam. He put me on, you know, he put me on, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this yet, you know. So I was just over there trying to figure it out, you know. But that's coincided, that goes in line with this story. One night, you know, we bought a TV from the pawn shop. It was like $165, you know what I'm saying? It was a 60-inch. At that time, I felt like I hit the lottery, you know. Like, when you get a big TV, you feel like you're doing it big, no matter where you at. You know, the TV bigger than my apartment at the time, so, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we know what we like, right?
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna celebrate, you know, we get out the car, you know, and we go upstairs, and I seen this look on my wife's face, you know what I'm saying? Like, she looked weary, you know? And you know, I had to take out the trash, you know. I had to take out the trash. We know what that means, you know. You got women tell you to do so, you got to do it.
You got to do it.
Yeah, so I had to take out the trash. He said, can you bring your gun? And I'm like, why would I bring my gun? You know, and at that point, I've been over this place for like 3, 4, 5 years already, you know? So I'm like, I don't feel the need to bring my weapon downstairs when the garbage can is literally like, you know, downstairs, you know? And she was saying, I seen people, it looked like they wasn't from around here, and they were looking very maliciously at us as we went upstairs. And, you know, we sat back there, we went back and forth for like 5 minutes, you know, because I felt it was silly. But, you know, just to, you know, make her comfortable or whatever, I brought my gun. I brought my gun. I said, I'm gonna bring my gun. She said, is it loaded? I'm like, yes, it's loaded. You know, so I go downstairs, take out the trash. At that point, we have those mirrors, you know, above the dumpsters that points out towards the street. So as I'm going in there, all I hear is, I hear feet moving. And I'm looking into that mirror, and that's when I seen those 3 gentlemen that she described running towards me. And one of them had a firearm in his hand. So I immediately went behind the garbage can, you know what I'm saying, pulled mine out. They came in there, you know, they're making their demands. Strip this, take me upstairs, and I'm like, y'all ain't going nowhere. We finna stay right here, you know. But I'm talking super loud, you know, because I'm trying to attract all the neighbors. Because people be out till like 2 in the morning.
Right.
So everybody started coming outside and seeing what's going on, because we all have balconies over our places, you know, and everybody was looking, and people had their phones out. I'm thinking they finna call the police. They recording. They trying to see who finna get killed.
Not even helping.
Not even helping. It was like a 5-10 minute thing that felt like 3 hours. Cause you know your light flashing before your eyes. I'm like, yo, all it takes is for them to pull that trigger one time. And I wanted to, and I wanted to do what I was instructed to do when I got my weapon. Right. When I got my gun, yourself. He said, no matter what happens, people got to go down. You know, it's either you and them. Yeah. But I didn't want to take another human life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tried to leave everything, but everything that led me up, because I was arrested twice before I met my wife, because I was lost. I was running the streets. but she made me want to be a good person. A good person. Because she was a good woman.
Right.
And I knew in order to keep her, I had to be better than what I was already. I had to have more. I had to desire more. So those entrepreneurial mindsets started to come back when I met her. So I'm like, let me figure out how to angle. You went from,
I want to do better, to meeting this wonderful woman that you wanted to marry.
Right.
Being in an uncomfortable situation, because now you can't even take out the trash without taking your gun with you. Loaded, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, you went from that to, I'm making a decision.
I need to do better.
Yeah, I'm deciding today, this is it, I'm going to do better.
Exactly. They ran away, I ran upstairs. I jumped in the shower, I cried, you know.
For sure.
I didn't even talk to her for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it just happened.
Right.
You know, and she's rubbing my back saying, what's going on? What happened? What's going on? What's you know, and I'm like, yo, how do I even tell this woman? Because I'm scared at that point.
Almost died, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm scared that she's going to leave. Like, yo, this is too dangerous for me to be over here. You know, like her hood was a little different. Like people was like in the house.
Right.
You know, and she moved to my apartment with me. You know, because I'm like,
so now you feel like you can't even protect her.
Exactly, because she had a son, Chris, at a young age, right? So like at that time, her son is 4, my daughter's 4.
Right.
So I felt like it was the Brady Bunch type of connection, you know. And I told her what's going on. You know, she sat there, she held me in the shower.
Oh, wow.
You know, and I was like, at that point, I need to do better. Because now it is really the definition of get rich or die trying. Because I already know how people are in the hood. Nobody forgets.
Nobody forgets.
Nobody forgets.
So let me ask you,
Come on.
When you said, all right, I don't want this life, I gotta have this life.
Yeah.
I'm deciding today that this is the life, I'm gonna change my life.
Yeah.
Change everything.
Yeah.
Now you got family, you know, you're forming a
They're
family
involved.
here. You know, all this. Everybody's, yeah. So wait a minute. Was it in the back of your mind, wait a minute, I got these 80,000 Instagram followers. I need to do something with them.
Yeah. Remember at that point, I was curious about what was going on. And then when he put me on, it was almost literally like 2 weeks before this event happened.
You were curious, but not serious.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Come on now. And so this time, I'm dive. I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? No more than 3 hours sleep each night. While she slept, I was woke, and I was working. I was figuring out everything I needed to know about affiliate marketing, and that's what I was doing. I was diving in. I was trying to figure out. You know, I'm like, I got 80,000 followers, and they had campaigns. At that point, you know, they had offers to promote for their, you know, businesses that they had contracted, and we would get a commission. So I immediately said, okay, let me do the one that everybody else is doing on Instagram. You know, we got different followers, but we're doing the same thing.
Right.
That at that point let me know that there's no such thing as competition. You know, there's no such thing as oversaturation. Because when I did it, we just seen a little money come in. I think the first week, pushing it crazy with just my followers alone, it was like a $3,000 a week.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, especially for somebody who only making $250 a week.
A week?
Yeah.
To 3,000, that's a huge jump.
Yeah,
it was a huge jump. How fast did it take you to get out of the projects when you started making money with that?
3 months.
3 months
because,
out of that.
Because I said I needed to make $20,000. In order to move, I need to make $20,000 so I can rent me a nice place that's away from here.
Okay.
And I tell people all the time, when people normally ask me, yo, I want to be just like you. I want to do it just like you. And I said, I wouldn't wish that on nobody. I created stuff for you guys so you don't have to do what I did, because I was living in hell in my head, in my mind, because every day I'm getting out the car with my children, with my girl. I'm thinking we finna get killed every single day. Every single day we go upstairs, I'm clutching my gun. There's not one moment where my hand ain't on my hip looking around at everybody. Now everybody getting the mean mug, everybody getting stared down. And me going back to talk to my instructor, he said, you did wrong. You could have lost your life tonight. Your child could have been, you know, your child could have been a statistic.
Yeah.
You know, your woman would have just went on by her life because of what so I was tortured in a sense, you know, of sitting there and thinking about what I should have did. So now I'm thinking like, I stayed up every day by the front door, by the door.
It's making sense to me now. Like, we know each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, we hang around the same, you know, people.
Yeah.
But we don't know each other.
Right.
You hear what I'm saying?
Right.
So this is making sense why you're so passionate about helping people in the e-commerce space.
Right.
Because this space that you're in changed your whole entire life. Not only did it change your life, it changed your wife's life. It changed your kids, your grandkids that are not born yet, your great-great-great-grandkids, and your mom's life, your dad's life, everybody around you.
Right.
You know how it can change, because look where we are. We're in your house. We're in your mansion.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're in your mansion.
Crazy still.
Right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Like, it all makes sense when I see you live. Like, I'm like, daggone, is he live 8 hours a day?
Right.
And you're like kind of like fussing at people, like, come on now, I'm trying to tell you, da 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 da. You almost died.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're helping. All you want to do is just help other people get out.
Yeah.
Because you made it. You made it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in just 1 year alone, you helped 26 people become millionaires in a year.
Right. Right.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I saw your post yesterday.
Come on.
The other day.
You seen it?
Yeah. I said, look at him. You said, no, I'm number one.
Gotta start.
I need somebody that could tell me that they made 26 other people millionaires in 1 year.
Come on.
Step up.
Yeah.
That's not. I mean, you're supposed to say that.
Right.
Because that's what we all supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Encouraging people to do that versus worrying about the next yacht trip. Yeah. If we can really focus on helping people, this world would be a better place altogether. Our people would not be the last on the totem pole of, and then wondering why we're not getting I want to be very delicate with this situation, respect we deserve, because we don't have to hold up all our lives matter if we actually show that our lives matter, where we don't need a sign. Our presence would be enough to understand, hey, our lives matter.
Right.
So if we go back to the story, just to catch people up, to figure out why I'm even here at this point, right? We started making money, moved to that place, nice place too. It was beautiful. It was like, I only been in 2-bedroom apartment, forever since I've been staying there. So, when you move to a rental house, it was like 4 bedrooms. You're like, oh man, like they stole my radio out there. So it wasn't the best place, but it was better than what I was at before.
Okay. You wasn't in the projects.
Right.
But
now I'm away from getting killed, but I might get stabbed.
Okay.
So that's better.
Safer.
It's way safer.
You can outrun a knife. You can't outrun a bullet. Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
And, it was dealing with that type of situation over there. I was making money in the space, but the thing is, it has seasons. I didn't know that until I started doing it, to the point where nothing was coming in for a minute, and I was panicking. I had to move us back to the hood. Not that certain hood, but back to the hood. I had to literally sit there and try everything I could because nothing was working no more. Me posting my page.
Did you have a mentor at the time?
No. I didn't even know what a mentor was.
So you was just figuring it out.
By myself.
You make a little money, you move out, you get out of the hood.
Yeah.
Then you go to just the hood.
Yeah.
And then things dry up, and then you go back to the hood. Not that same hood, but another hood.
Yep. Back to the hood.
Take another step back.
Had to take a step back.
Now let me ask you this. If you would have had, knowing what you know now, if you would have had a mentor in that space, that e-commerce space, right? Yeah. You would have never had to go back. Never. Right? Because they could have guided you in a different direction. Right.
Because when you're young, at the same time trying to experience life with a woman, at the same time trying to be a great father, and run a business. At that point, I didn't consider it a business. It was just a hustle. It was a hustle to me. So I was just hustling, posting people on my page and getting paid from it. So it was just a hustle. But we want to enjoy life as well because we're still young.
Right.
And I know she's young, and she decided not to go to the military for me. Yeah. That was a decision that she had to make early on when she was telling me about her dreams and her restaurant she wanted to open, and said, yo, I want to give a shot on love, so I'm not going to go to the military for you. And it had to make me turn up and be a bigger man than ever, So moving back to the hood was a hard thing to say. But that first time, she really didn't, it was like, you know what? Let's do what we have to do. We moved back to the hood. Things got better. We moved out the hood, back into another rental house.
Okay.
You know, and that went good for a couple months. I was more conservative with money.
Still didn't really have a mentor, nobody to help you.
Nobody at all.
Figuring it out.
Still figuring it out.
Okay.
Still didn't even know what a mentor was.
Okay.
Happened again.
Happened again?
This
Y'all
time,
went back to the hood?
This time it was the worst. It's probably like one of the worst days ever in my life. One of the worst days ever in my life.
So y'all had to go back to the hood?
Yeah. Yeah. And this time it was bad because my wife had so many plans. She decorated that house with all her ability. That was her home. Yeah. That was the one she was proud of. And me to say that again, I tried everything. This time I really did try everything. I tried to pull off, but the thing was, I knew we couldn't go $0 broke. At that time, I only got $5,000 left in the bank. And I'm like, yo, we gotta move, or we're gonna go $0 broke. And I know what the last resort is, and that's to move to the place that caused all the hell.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, we gotta move. She's like, what? Come on, please, let me get involved. What can I do? What can I fix? I'm like, we can't fix anything. I showed her the place. I showed her the places, and we chose the best place out of it. But she, you know, when we got in there, after we moved all our stuff, she broke down.
So then what happened? So
it was horrible. It was a bad argument, you know.
So how did you get here?
Yeah, that conversation led me to say, do more. That's when I started trying to sell products of my own, right? Because I seen my kids where they had to revert back to a 2-bedroom where they had to share rooms again. And they didn't like that because they had their own room in the house, you know? So, you know, it caused, I'm like, okay, let me do better now. So I said, let me try to implement something with doing the affiliate marketing. Let me try to sell my own products. Tried to sell like hair, that flopped. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we tried to sell a t-shirt brand, that flopped, you know. Poppy shower gels, they were like shower speakers that just waterproof and stuff. That made like a little money. You know, I sold the teeth whitening kits too. I did a lot. People go look at my page, they go see what about the little storage room.
So you was just trying to sell.
I was trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out, you know. It wasn't until I ran across skincare inside of the affiliate marketing space. And when that hit, I'm like, listen, because normally when I'm working my campaigns and they're working good, I make $500 a week, and then it'll go up to $1,000, then $1,500, but never really over like $4,000, you know.
In a week, okay.
Like so, okay. But this one, it hit like $2,000 off the bat. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be crazy, you know. So as I'm working,
was that the time that you went from $5,000 into your bank account basically to a millionaire in 5 months? Not
yet. This is right before that.
Okay.
This is when I accumulated over $60,000 in my bank account from doing that.
Skincare, okay.
And one of the advertisers, they ran off with the money.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they ran off with the money. And, you know, I couldn't get paid for a while. But at least I had $60,000 in the bank. So another company was approaching me and said, hey, come over here, we got some dope for you. And I didn't want to because I didn't really know them for real. But I said, you know what? Let me see. Because remember, that time of me not knowing what they was doing with my money, I started my own skincare business. I got, you know, as far as like my last $300 paycheck that came in, I put all that money in the products, you know. And at the same time that company approached me, they said, try this out. I tried it out. First day, $5,000. I'm like, what?
In one day?
Yeah. And I just put every dollar I had into that. Okay. Because they said, look what you was making. Because, you know, when you're doing affiliate marketing, you're expecting a big payout at the end of the week.
Yeah.
So I'm putting in like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, you know, in a day into that because I was making so much on my dashboard. It says I was supposed to get paid $150,000.
Okay.
That would have been the most money I ever seen in my life, all at once.
Yeah.
You know, but the last $300 went on my skincare brand.
Got it.
So while I was looking at that, I'm like, oh, well, whatever that, I'm going to stay over here. Because that's why I was comfortable.
Yeah.
People 9 to 5, you know, you comfortable with it, you know? And that's when they didn't want to pay me. They called me at the end of the week while I was happy, going to wait for that money. And they said, yo, I'm sorry to tell you, they said something bad about the traffic. I'm like, what you mean? Ain't nothing bad with the traffic. I've been doing this for the longest.
Yeah.
You know? And they said, I'm sorry, we can't. Sorry, man. They didn't pay me, long story short. Horrible again, crying in the closet, like, yo, this is the third time. I was about to get a job. I said, listen, I'm gonna go back to work. I tried my best. Entrepreneurship ain't for me, clearly, because I wouldn't be seeing money and not seeing money and keep on happening to me, you know? So it was horrible, you know, but that was just a short period of time because I went to my Tuesday meeting. My pastor told me, you know, Pastor Mojo, he said, son, you got the knowledge. You made all that money. You know how to make it again. Now use your head. And those words really made me feel like, yo, I do got the knowledge. I know how to make this money. And, you know, being broke, I'm looking over there at my table and looking at my products. And that's when I started working on my business. And that's when it made $1 million.
You put your hands on 10 and 2.
Come on.
And you ain't look to the left or to the right.
Right. Because I had all the knowledge. I knew how to make the money. I knew how to talk to people. So I incorporated everything that I learned over the years. And
all
I tell
those
people,
failures, all those getting fired from your job, having to make, that was $1 million decision you made back then, by the way.
Come on.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
You have to make those decisions where you are.
Right.
Because you saw where you were going. You said that earlier. You said, I had to show him either where I'm from or where I'm going.
Right.
You just didn't know the plan. You didn't know the path. You didn't know how to get there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you made a decision then.
Made a decision.
That was your decision.
Made a decision.
Not, I want to go see my mom. No, I have made a decision to go see my mom.
Right.
Bye. I'm out.
Right.
So all along the way, you've been making those decisions.
Just didn't know it.
You didn't know you were making those decisions.
Just didn't know it. Till I put it all in that pot of gumbo, and I said,
here it is.
Oh, shoot, I've been doing stuff my whole life. I've been selling my whole life. I done sold shoes to older people that didn't even know what shoes they wanted. So I've been persuading people to do this and that, you know. Obviously, you know, I met this wonderful woman that decided not to go. So I've been selling my whole life.
Your whole entire life.
And didn't even know it until I clicked it all together and said, yo, you are great.
And that's when you went from there to making over $1 million.
In 5 months.
In 5 months.
And then turned around and made $3 million that same year.
In 1 year, you made $3 million. 1 year. First year.
Yep.
Just focusing on you.
Yep.
And what you needed to do.
Right. Every dollar went back into the business. Every dollar. Besides rent, everything else went back into the business. We ate on the dollar menu. We
so
ate
y'all multimillionaires eating on the dollar menu.
Yeah. Because you know, at that point, I said, there's no way in hell that I can let that happen a fourth time. You know, nah. 3 is a strikeout. God gave us grace. You know, and I'm pretty sure he gave me the idea because I came up with the idea literally sitting there. I'm like, oh, shoot, let me get a napkin. I sketched out my logo for my brand. And I'm like, God gave me that vision. So if I didn't act on my vision, you know, and I always say this because procrastination was a big part of mine problem that everybody else's problem, right? And procrastination is an assumption that God will give you a second chance at something he called you to do today. So I said, let me work it out and I'm gonna stay on this. And I stayed on that every single day. Still didn't know nothing about a mentor. Still didn't know nothing. You know, I'm mad. I built my business with so much passion, and the reason why I'm passionate, you know, I had a whole bunch of frustration along the way because I'm like, can anybody show me how to do this?
Right.
Like Jesus Christ, I'm over here, I just got married, you know?
Yeah.
I got a family, I got a business to run. I don't know how to allocate this time to the business and my woman. Because she's still a woman at the end of the day, so she still needs attention. Still wants attention. But how we gonna work this business that I still don't know everything about? I didn't told you, I didn't know what an LLC was until my second month in business. But I was already up 200,000 by the end. So, you know, I didn't know nothing. So I'm like, yo, I'm literally figuring out everything along the way.
So nothing was perfect.
Nothing. The labels was cricket. We sprayed glue because we ain't had no money. We had no money, right? So listen, I got the spray glue, Elmer's glue from Walmart, giving people hints if you broke too, just like me, how I was. Listen, I spray glued the labels on. I cut it out. I went to the library. You know, you print out them sheets. You get some scissors. You cut the label out. Boom. Spray glue it on. You know, you might cough a little bit. It might mess up your lungs long term. But, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't worried about safety and health right now, do what I did. You know what I'm saying? Get the labels out. Boom, boom, boom. I spent all of like $10.
But no, seriously, don't do what he did.
Yeah, don't do what I do. Yeah,
because
you probably get paid more than what I did. So.
But listen, the reason why They don't have to do what you did.
Come on.
It's because now you show people how to do it the way that it's supposed to be done.
Supposed to be done. Yeah.
Like you were figuring it out.
Right.
So there's other people out here trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And you've already figured it out because you did it.
Right.
And you've perfected it. And you have 26 millionaires that you help do the same thing.
And
right?
freed up thousands of people from their job.
And freed up thousands and thousands of people from their 9-to-5s that they didn't want to work a 9-to-5.
Yep.
Right? So when people see, oh my God, you know, he always wanted to sell something. He always wanted to sell something. You make your own money. You really don't have to help people.
At all.
You know, like you don't, because you know how to do it.
Yeah.
Like I've never met anybody that went from, you know, nothing to $1 million in 5 months and then 3 million in the same year. Like, so you have your own money. You have your own everything, your businesses, this, that, you know, everything you have. You don't have to help people.
Right.
But yet and still you're so passionate about helping people. Now I understand why, because I understand the backstory, right?
Right.
Your mom, even though she's not your biological mom, you got her DNA.
Right.
You know, you got your dad's DNA.
Right.
They jumped over hoops and valleys just to help you, to get you. So now I see why you're so passionate about helping people, right?
So many amazing people that don't have the money.
Right.
The best people that I ever met in my life are broke.
Right.
Majority of them.
Right.
The best people, the spirit that they have, you know, that makes me keep going every day, because I know for a fact I'm freeing up either the next me or the next one of those people that I just love, you know? And that's the reason why you'll see me on live more than anybody. I'm on there 24/7.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I make that my priority, you know, because I literally want to, I yearn to see everybody free. Because I remember what it did to me. I remember the lonely space that I was in mentally and how much I needed to get free for my family's sake. So it was one of those things where I said, you know what? I'm a strap in. If not me, then who?
If not me, then who?
If I can't be the person that can set my family free and everybody else, who? Remember, at that time, I still didn't even know that you guys existed. I didn't know it was other superheroes in the world. Because that's how I look at you. That's how I look at Myron. That's how I look at all ours in a circle. As superheroes. I thought I was throwing on the cake by myself. You know? So I'm putting in the work. The first year, you know, nobody didn't even know anybody else but me either. Because I was speaking to the people who never got spoken to. So that's why my community is so tight, because I found them in a place of where I used to be at mentally and physically. Stuck, not knowing what to do. Just got out of jail. Single mother, you know, newly found single mother because of violence that happened to the father.
Yeah.
Like, these are the people who I connected to because it was reminiscence of my past. And I know that if God gave me this blessing to be as great as I've been, because, you know, Myron normally tells us, like, yo, you have the best story that I ever heard to come. I never heard a story like that. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to use that blessing for good. I'm going to come out here, connect with people, and I'm going to help people change their lives. Because the fact is, I give the blueprint, but they have to walk through the door. So they have to do the work. Yeah. But make no mistake, this plan works. Just work the plan, and the plan will work for you, and your life will be changed. Because I seen what it did for other people, the 26 millionaires, you know. And if we, my top earning student was battling depression. He started with $150. He made $1.4 million in 10 months. Wow. He was battling depression and everything. Wow. He started to keep the Lord's commandments and everything, and he said he found me that Saturday. And boom, we connected. And after him, it showed me that it gave me an addiction. At that point, you know, I was
addicted.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, no pun, but I was addicted.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, he threw a party in Miami, you know, rented out a section, you know, everybody staring at us in the section, you know, and I'm sitting over there screaming, yelling for him. We turned it up. Yeah. And afterwards, you know, we outside the club, we had a real close moment. Right. You know, and we held each other for like 10 minutes. We cried. Wow. Because he I know what I did for him in his life, and he validated what I was doing for everybody else.
Got it.
So it made it work.
It made it work.
I create millionaires now.
So I want you to look in the camera, and I want you to talk to the 27th millionaire. And I want you already know where they are.
Right.
You already know where they are.
Right.
You know where you find people. You know where people find you, right?
Right.
I want you to tell the 27th millionaire something.
You are not alone at all. I know how it may seem in life. Nobody counting on you. Nobody expecting much from you. But it's a place in the world for you to carve out your lane. I'm trying to tell you because I did it. Nobody has to encourage you. You encourage yourself. Nobody has to want this for you. You want it yourself. I know how it is to be a human. Remember, guys, we yearn for community, which is why I started a community. So even when you join the program, like it's about the community. We're a family. We all say we love each other, and we just met. Most of us never seen each other in person. But it's real love in that community because I understand what we truly need. Everybody truly wants to belong. And it's better if you belong to something that's going to change you and your children's, your grandchildren, their grandchildren life. And that's what this does. Because once you learn this information, you will never forget it. You'll never forget it, right? And you can teach this to somebody else over and over and over again to the point where they can apply it to their lives. And you have directly changed that person. I told everybody, and I'm going to tell you this. People might sit here in the back of your head, you saying, what's in it for him? I'm going to tell you what's in it for me. I have a trick up my sleeve. I do. What's in it for me is, my plan is to help you become successful, very successful. And I'm going to ask you for $100,000. And I'm going to ask him for $100,000 and her for $100,000. And I'm going to do this over and over and over. And then I'm going to put my own $100,000 in. And we're going to go buy up 100 acres, 200 acres, 500 acres. We're going to build shopping plazas, schools, churches, everything around. We're going to start our own community. We're going to carve out a piece of this world for us. Because that's how it should have been done from the first place. That way we can get our babies away from violence. I have to sit here and listen to stories of children getting taken away from parents because of the areas and the environments that we put ourselves in, you know, and that we were placed in. I want to stop that. If we all made in Christ's image, why are we not walking like it? Because that man did some amazing things while he was here. And we got to fill up the shoes and do the same thing, do some amazing things while we're here. Let's get God's people. Let's put them all in one area. That's my mission. That's my goal. That's the plan. That's what I want to do before I take my last breath, is make sure that I establish a safe place for us and my children and your children and all our children to be together in one area where it's all love. Get started, man. I'm here. Tasha's here. Everybody's here, man. Like I said, man, I didn't know other people existed until today, which I built the community and the friendship and a bond for them, as I want you guys to do as well. Yeah.
So how can they find you? If they ain't already found you on Instagram.
Yeah. Y'all ain't already found me, PapiChulo_dreaded, right? PapiChulo_dreaded. My website is next bracket, the number 4, the letter U, the nextbracketforyou.com. Because the goal is to get you to the next tax bracket. That's what I want to get you to, and we can keep growing from there, all right? I have 3 tiers. I have a $40 monthly plan, unlimited access to all my content on how to start and grow a successful business step by step. It's going to always be affordable, no matter what I raise it up to, guys, because I have a passion to help you guys, even if you haven't invested in yourselves. I have a free 9-minute video on the website so you can check it out if you're still skeptical or you don't know everything that I do. It's very detailed. So go watch that free 9-minute video on my website. I have a 5K program. It shows you exactly what to sell, this one specific. You know, I teach you about the top 4 cash cow businesses that's booming, that's making crazy money right now. In the 30K program, business in the box, man. You get everything set up for you. And you just gotta, go out there and start making money.
All right.
All right.
All the links are going to be posted below, above, wherever, I don't know. Right. But they can reach out to you, okay? Right. Thank you, brother.